Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. Welcome to this Week 4 broadcast of the Final Fantasy All Hallows League. We've got a really tight race going into the playoffs for the league. I'm here in the broadcast booth tonight as Cheesenator, and I'm joined by DVS. DVS, how you doing?
This is going to be an amazing run. It's going to be fast. It's going to have a lot of amazing players, and I am so excited.
It is going to be exciting. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to see tonight. We are running the Chaos Rush format. These are very, very fast seeds where a Temple of Fiends Revisited is open immediately and experience is jacked all the way to the max. So you're going to see runners basically just go find a grind, find some gear, and rush down the boss. You could see finishes in the neighborhood of 20 or even 15 minutes, depending on how friendly things roll. You'll see a forced party comp of 3 characters and a nun that will be everyone will share per seed, and we're running 3 seeds in a row with breaks between.
And you may notice that after each player's name that there's a parentheses with a 0 inside of it, and that number represents how many seeds that particular runner has already completed. So as we're going through this broadcast, you might see one runner on seed 1 and another runner on seed 3. So we're going to try to help you keep track of that, and we're going to try to keep track of that for you on our broadcast.
Indeed. And also, the broadcast today features 2 people who are in sort of in the thick of the hunt for the final playoff spot. That's Jat and Fryteeth of the Quackening and the Team Cheese Fries, respectively. Also, the teams of the 2 people in the booth, but we will be as unbiased as possible in our excitement tonight, won't we?
Yes, we will be unbiased. I'm sorry.
And they're off. So this party comp here, it's got all colors of magic and a fighter, so it should be relatively straightforward. In the weapon shop, nothing interesting. We've got Cure 4 Life 2 available, and I see opal bracelets in the armor shop. So there's some really good defensive magic already. Break and Lit 2 will get us going. Break can kill Garland, Lit 2 can kill the pirates. And so you might see people come back to get those opal bracelets in the armor shop. The reason you're seeing things like opal is because the elite gear is turned on for shops so that you can find ribbons, you can find caster items, just kit and caboodle.
Yeah, and you'll notice that our runners are going to try to be managing gold at the very beginning, trying to figure out, am I going to spend money on all of these items, all these spells? Am I going to try to buy some armor or some weapons? Should I save my money or should I spend it? And we're really going to see some potential route divergence right here as we have Fryteeth heading right up to Temple of Fiends. It looks like Rojo Vision or Rojo is doing the same. Luffy's doing the same. So it looks like all of our runners are taking a similar type of path at this early game.
And Fryteeth has Bracken into pieces Garland. So first to tell us what the King has, King gives us a slab, and Sarah gives us the rod. So you won't see either of those made use of in this format. You don't need to go kill the individual fiends, and it's unlikely that players will follow through on long fetch quest chains that take them away from kind of the center of the action.
Yeah, and one of the big things with this particular flag set is that every key item gives you a 20% experience and gold increase. So right off the beginning of the game, in this particular seed, our runners are starting with a 40% increase in XP and gold. And I see Fryteeth heading directly to Provoca. I see Luffy heading to Dwarf Cave. Fryteeth is going to pick up likely another key item from Bicky. That's going to give him another 20%. So you'll see runners trying to prioritize key items, potentially before they try to prioritize doing some grinds.
Mm-hmm. Also, runners, of course, are going to be checking the weapon and armor shops across a variety of towns because there are so many potentially powerful things to pick up. Didn't see anything super critical in the Provoca weapon shop. We saw in the Melmond armor shop there are white shirts, and stacking evasion is one path to victory for the potential bosses. The final boss flag is on tonight, so that could be any number of different and quite difficult formations.
We did see that Bicky does have the ship, but as you've probably noticed already, that our runners already start the game with the airship. And again, at any moment, any of our runners can just walk into Temple of Fiends Revisited and try to attempt the final boss. So at this, what the runners are trying to do, a ribbon -3 that Jack found in Matoya. Our runners are trying to either pick up gear, they're trying to pick up key items for experience scaling, and they're trying to get to a level that they think is going to be acceptable for diving Topher. I see a bottle for 2,000 gold. I don't know where Fryteeth is.
That's still in Provoca. Additionally, in Provoca, there are the ribbons in the armor shop, so you'll see if runners didn't have enough for the bottle, and especially if they don't have enough for the ribbons this early, you'll see them coming back for those.
And a katana +5, it looks like, in that Provoca armor shop. We don't have any thieves in this particular run, but you will be seeing, if we do end up with a thief in one of the future seeds, they're going to be looking at these weapon shops to see if there's a katana, and there are vorpals in these particular armor shops as well.
We had a question in chat. What's the range on the boss scaling? It's 50% at the minimum and 200% at the highest for both enemies and bosses. We saw some important stuff here in Crescent Lake. The defense sword is available in the weapon shop there, and Fade is available in the white magic. So at level 16, that white mage will be able to start casting offensive spells, which level 16 is not very far away. It's a couple of fights in this experience scaling.
In Fryteeth picked up by far the most key item in Crescent Lake, and it looks like Rojo is about to do the same, which is the crown. And the crown might just be a normal key item in most flag sets, but in this flag set, that crown, since we have vanilla fetch quest items, that crown is going to turn into a crystal, which will turn into an herb, which will turn into a key, which might give another key item inside of Canaria Lock. So you have the opportunity of getting almost a 100% increase in experience and gold just by that one key item.
Yep, and it looks like we've got some runners gunning down Astos right now. Rojo is on the way, Fryteeth is on the way. Astos, he should go down relatively quickly, maybe a couple of lit 3s, and in fact, he's got less than 100 HP.
Well, and I did see Jack check the weapon shop up in Crescent Lake. I don't know if we talked about this earlier, but we did find a defense sword in that particular weapon shop, which the defense sword is normally a great weapon, but we already talked about white shirts being great for evade, that those defense swords are going to do even better.
Yeah, so it's likely we'll see all of our runners follow a similar path to clean up these early key items, follow the crown to Astos and follow that crown chain. So we don't yet have anyone inspecting grind tiles, which will be the chief way to get our experience. We've got the quote-unquote B-side or alternative forced encounter tiles on this flag set, which means that there'll be formations that are not seen both on the vanilla spike tiles and some not even seen in vanilla game at all, which include a lot of powerful sets of enemies that are really rich in experience.
Yeah, this is where you're going to get your free eye grinds, or you'll find your, quad Sarias and Agamas. The amount of experience is kind of ridiculous in this particular flag set. And at the moment, again, it looks like our runners are just prioritizing that early key item turn-in. And we're probably going to start seeing some of that divergence coming right after this key turn-in. Because after this key turn-in, we're probably going to start seeing runners starting to look for that ideal grind location.
Ooh, nuke at level 3. Okay, so this red mage is already useful. I believe once you've done Astos on these flags, you're usually already like level 10 or 11. So we've got some nuke charges. We've got a lot of the other important spells in the game. Other than, I don't think I've seen faster temper, so might not have a way to buff that fighter's offensive capabilities yet, but we've certainly got ways to kill enemies, and all you really need are levels to win this flag set. So, the rest of the stuff, like all of it is sort of gravy after that.
Yeah. Well, and you might even see our runners just not checking most of the shops in the game. If you already have like Nuke, Life 2, maybe even Fast in your first 2 levels, you might not even see our runners stop into Elfland just to maintain some of that extra speed. Because like she said earlier, we're looking at flag sets that have a low of about 12 minutes at the absolute fastest. And some of these can go into the 30, 40 some minute range if you have a really, really bad alt final boss.
Yeah, and so far we haven't seen anyone investigate the grinds on the overworld. That's one thing you will see fairly often in this flag set, but it looks like it might take too long to find the first overworld encounter based on the info I've seen so far. So probably see people go to Earth Cave, Volcano, Northwest Keylock, because they've got that key, a variety of places that have at least 2 different enemy spike tiles.
Yeah. And we do have Jet as our first runner to actually start checking spike tiles, and you saw that he checked the center spike tile in Northwest, which is it's a great start because there's 2 trap tiles right there for you. And you're going to see him check the chest. You'll probably see him drop into the other spike tile, and it looks like Fry Teeth is heading to ooh, oh wow, these are 2 very nice starting grind tiles to find. We'll have to see how much HP these particular enemies have.
Yeah, looks like Fryteeth decided to check the Temple of Fiends, the single spike tile there, and has switched it up to go to Earth now, which has 3, while indeed Jet has seen the Earth elementals and the Naokos, which we just call nachos because saying the other word is too hard in Northwest Castle.
Yeah, and it seems like both Jat and Fryteeth, even though that those are very high experience enemies, they both decided to nope out of that particular encounter simply because of HP and whether or not you're able to deal enough damage to take down the enemies quickly. So you might, which is what I ran into on Sunday, have an amazing high experience encounter, but if they have too much HP, it's just going to end up taking far too long for this grind. And it looks like Luffy did find the exact same grind in Topher, but he's actually going to try to see what these Gurpeeds have and see if they have a low enough health to make this grind actually viable. Ooh, and it looks like just 1 nuke in a swing took down that bottom Gurpeed. I didn't see exactly how much HP they have, but this looks like a promising move from Luffy compared to Fryteeth deciding not to take this particular grind.
Yeah, that's it's certainly not terrible. I'm used to those things rolling so high that I never even consider it a good spike tile. But you know, it's rando's gonna rando, right? And sometimes even the worst things can be good if they only take 1 round. Fryteeth has found in the volcano here inside the armory, the Mancat Medusa tile, which is a good sort of get started thing. However, you know, nope, they've all rolled down, so our nuke is gonna get the job done. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find one of these high experience tiles that also have, also go down in a single nuke or fade cast, that's really the ideal situation. And it seems like Fryteeth is satisfied with the situation he finds himself in. We haven't seen anything evil coming out of the Medusas and the Mancats yet. That's still to figure out if they have damage, poison, or glance, or something crazy like that. And it looks like Jat's having a little bit of trouble in Hall of Giants with that sea troll and lobster tile.
Yeah, I don't think any of the runners have much in the way of body armor yet, so if you get ambushed by a bunch of lobsters in rando, they are likely to bowl you over. Jat found a very interesting tile. It's very similar with a slightly different enemy set to Fryteeth. So behind those lobsters in the Hall of Giants, there's Saber Tees and Medusas, which is quite a good spike tile as well. We haven't found anything top tier, but certainly we found some grinds that'll get you there. That'll get you into the mid to high 20s. The problem I'm seeing is our potential to win with the weapons that we have or have seen. A lot of the high stuff rolled down, and Maza hasn't showed up yet, which might mean it's in Marsh Cave, Waterfall, or Loose.
Yeah, and it looks like Rojo found some metal slimes. I think he might be an overworld encounter.
Yeah, that's an overworld encounter.
So it looks like Jat is trying to head out of Earth Cave and take these sea trolls and lobsters instead of doing the saber keys and Kermedusas. And one of the hardest things about this particular flag set is how do you know when you found the grind? How do you know when you found the spot that you want to camp down and spend a long amount of time on? And with the Saber Tea and Kermedusa tile, we've seen Mancat Medusa, we've seen the Nachos, and I don't remember what was in Topher. But we have a number of the Gurpedes. So we have a number of options. And at one point, these runners are going to have to decide, I'm going to camp here. And that's one of the biggest separators between who's going to get first, second, and third place.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fryteeth has decided he's happy with the tile inside the volcano. He went back in after a refill outside. Rojo's still flying around, kind of looking to see what he wants to settle on. And everyone else is taking a bit of a break, maybe a restock, reheal. If you didn't have enough houses or whatever, then you might need to go back to towns, refill your magic charges, and then revisit those grinds once again.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised that we haven't seen any major looting. Like you said, usually you're trying to find some sort of end game weapon to be putting on that fighter, or you're looking for those fast casts in temper casts, or maybe power gauntlet. But it looks like our runners are more focused on the grind tiles than they are about finding some of that end game weaponry.
Yeah, you don't need the weaponry while you're grinding. You just need it to finish off like the big bosses, right? So Nuke and potentially if you bought Fade at Crescent, those things will get you there when you're just looking for experience.
I also like this other tile that Luffy found, which appears it's the chest tile in Earth Cave 1. And he found Frost Wolves and Frost Giants, which again is one of those, you'll run into that in the game. But this could be a good grind tile if everything rolls low. And it looks like our Frost Giants might have rolled a little bit higher than we might want for this particular type of grind. Ooh, and Fryteeth found Gurmedusas.
Yeah, so Fryteeth, the grind tile he found is normally quite good, even at a low level. The issue is that he's got literally no body armor, and Gurmedusas hit like 10 to 12, 13-ish times. If you have any Absorb on, you'll bring those down to 1 damage a hit, but because he didn't, he was getting hit for like 100, 110, 120 per hit, and with 7 enemies on screen, that's just going to take you out immediately. Similar problem to what the Lobsters were doing with their multiple hits against people with no armor. It does look like Jat's fighter must be wearing something now because he is surviving a few Lobster hits, though he did just go down.
Yeah, and I think we still have those Opal +5s that I think were in Canaria. So, I don't remember how much money they rolled for, but like in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking, how long is it going to take me to get Opal 5s on my party? And trying to prioritize that, maybe even on top of these starting grinds. Because right now they're wasting a lot of time either looking for new grinds or getting party wipes that they could be using actually progressively gaining that experience if they have the gold to purchase those Opal 5s.
Yeah, I think the gold actually might be the issue. These tiles that we found are not some of the most lucrative in terms of money, and the Opal bracelets in Canaria were in the 5 digits of either 20 or 30,000 a piece. They were quite expensive. Though Luffy might be going back to check for those exactly right now. Let's see. And they are 24,000 a piece. So Luffy's got the cash, at least, and will be able to tank up with everyone.
Yeah, and I think this might be one of those turning point plays for Luffy. Just knowing that if I have Opal 5s and it looks like he has a couple of ribbons, I'm feeling very comfortable that wherever I end up, I am probably going to survive. Whereas, you already see Rojo having a little bit of hard time. His fighter's down. I think this might give Luffy a little bit of an edge, but we also did see Fryteeth get his canoe from Marsh Cave, and that canoe is an extra 20% of experience. So maybe that 20%, and it looks like it's a Germadusa type. So on top of the 20% experience, he's also getting a very low HP enemy for a very high amount of experience and gold.
Yeah, we've seen all the runners on screen start to adjust to the available grinds. This is an unusual seed, I think. It's not often that you find decent grinds, but actually just nobody can survive them. Sometimes the problem is scripts. You'll see, oh, I found this great tile, but everything's casting Blizzard or everything's casting Crack. But in that case, you can go get ribbons in the shop, and ribbons tend to be much cheaper than the body armor. But this time, it's like all the tiles hit hard physically, right? Sabers, lobsters, Germaduses, all these things roll multiple hits, can crit you, etc. This is where did we find these rock goals?
I was gonna say enter rock goals, which hit like a truck.
Yeah, so these mid-grind adjustments I think are still going on. I don't know if anybody's quite ready for Topher yet, though Jat is kind of posturing as though he is. It looks like he's kind of making his final adjustments. I could absolutely see a dive, pre-19, pre-20, so forth for Topher. Everyone, maybe not everyone remembers Fade. Okay, most people have remembered Fade. I've seen Luffy pick up Fade. I've seen Fried Teeth pick up Fade. So both the casters, if we do get into Topher, are going to have contributions. And Fade and Nuke can be routes to victory if we see the kinds of formations that involve a lot of enemies over the more individual ones like the Double Dragon and the Waka Chaos.
Well, and one of the things about especially Chaos Rush is it's the information dive. The information dive is a lot more important in Chaos Rush, especially because of that short Topher as compared to something like, a long Topher where it takes a couple minutes to get down to the Fiend fights in Chaos. Here we're talking about seconds. You can find out very, very quickly if it's going to be easy to get to that alt-final boss or if there is a gatekeeper on either side of that short Topher. So Jat might be posturing not only to just do the early dive, but gather the information to learn, do I need to go back and grind? Do I need to just go get some defense swords? Or am I already in a position where I can beat this final boss in 2 or 3 dives?
Yeah. One thing I've seen both Rojo and Luffy do in this seed, which it's not super common in Chaos Rush because it does take time, but promoting the party. And I think the best reason for that in this seed in particular is because of that, so many weapons that were equipable pre-promo, in fact, rolled down and are not going to be useful for the fighter, and we don't have that Mazza, so somebody might need to promote just to get a weapon that can win a solo fight. Because I also don't think we've seen the Power Gauntlet. So we are definitely short on individual character offense.
It looks like Luffy is going to be our first runner to actually dive Topher, and he's doing the chest check. looks like they took opposite directions. So in our short Topher, we're going to see two of our fiends in on one side, two of our fiends in the other. We're always like hoping and praying to get Lich and Carry right after one another. But it looks like we have either Tia and Lich or Kraken and Carry. Again, we have a huge range of experience that these particular fiends can roll, so you might end up with like a 500 HP Kraken or a 1200 HP Lich. And it looks like we get our first look, and we have Lich and Friends as our first final boss in this seed number 1.
Yeah, the Fun Dead Party Pack. This is a scary one. Those phantoms are some of the highest attacking enemies in the entire game, maybe the single highest attack. They have a tendency to just one-shot people, and sometimes they roll enough HP that they don't go down to a round of sweepers, which gets to be very spooky. Your best bet is that the phantoms roll scripts so that they aren't punching you, basically. And then for the Liches, you just want to see like things that aren't nuke and nuclear, and otherwise Lich will be relatively safe.
Yeah. And a shout out to many a duck who has had a very, very bad experience with the Fun Dead pack, and many of us have. We're still trying to recover from the trauma of trying to deal with Fun Dead and some of our Duckling Derby seeds.
I will say that this is probably the best party, like, despite its scariness, this is the best alt final boss party we could have rolled in the specific conditions of this seed without a super strong individual melee character with a powerful weapon and fast and all that, because those things on screen, they all have sort of an upper bound of their HP that is much lower than other alt final bosses. So, a good strategy to victory is if you have ribbons, just get your evasion maxed out and then dunk all your nuke and fade charges into it.
Well, and depending on how the stats roll, I mean, normally with an alt final boss, you're thinking, Warmech, or you're thinking the Double Dragons, you're thinking Chaos, you're thinking big, beefy enemies, and you're worried about that big enemy. But with Fun Dead, oftentimes you end up being more afraid of the Phantoms than you are of the Liches. And so sometimes you have to alter your strategy based on, do I have to take out the Liches fast, or do I need to focus on the Phantoms and building evade and just kind of deal with the Liches as time goes on?
Yep, and Fryteeth is going to be our second to actually see the boss. He had gone right and then pieced out and went back left in Topher the first time. So now he sees it, and he's going for offensive strats the first round. It might not pay off, because I think we also saw Luffy go for double sweepers first round, and it wasn't enough to take out the Phantoms. So you'll probably see an adjustment from both of these runners that they'll switch to defensive strats the second time they fight. Luffy is actually going back for more levels.
Yeah, and we did just see Fryteeth ended up having BBBBB get knocked out in one punch, and that's again one of the big fears of running against the Fun Dead, is those Phantoms are just ridiculously strong. And so Luffy going for levels is going to help him survive some of those hits a little bit better. It looks like we have actually, all 4 of our runners are in Temple of Fiends, and we have 3 of them going down to Temple of Fiends Revisited. We have Fryteeth going on the left side against Tia. We have Jack and Rojo both choosing to go right, and they're fighting Carry 2, and they're going to fight Kraken directly after this.
That's right. Yeah. So I think once you get into the point where you're trying to redive and adjust your strategies and stuff, we do want to see the runners try, make the variables a little bit different than what happened the first time. What I'm seeing with this party comp is that our condition for victory is those 2 casters. So I want to see more people put the fighter in front and the casters in back, and just have the fighter just sit up there with like a defense sword, soak hits, while the mages maybe provide some team-wide AoE, and then, team-wide like AoE buffs, like the Invis 2, and then go for Harm 4 and Nuke. I think that is how whoever wins first, I think that's how they're going to get there.
So I want to call out, Life Reboot in chat, who made a very, very important note that the Harm 4 is fighter learnable. So part of Luffy going to get some of those levels might have just been to give some spell charges on that fighter. So instead of having 2 AoE casts, you actually have 3 AoE casts. And assuming that speed and power are the way to go with this particular Fun Dead pack, that might be it might be strong enough to get them down in 2 or 3 or in 1 or 2 turns, as opposed to what you see some of our other runners doing, praying for some of this evade. But when you're talking about four Phantoms versus 3 Light Warriors, those odds are not the greatest.
Yeah, it looks like Fryteeth has eliminated 3 of these 6 enemies on screen, and Rojo has 1 of 6 down, so they're both making some progress. Now Fryteeth has both the Liches dead, and that's all the Phantoms. All right, so Fryteeth is the first on screen through the initial seed. This will be followed by a 1-minute mandatory break as he queues up seed number 2, and Rojo is about to eliminate the Phantom just behind him, so I think we're going to see very close finishes between those, and Luffy might be also right behind. So kind of a linear initial seed, not a ton of variance in strategies overall, thus meaning that everyone on stream is kind of converging at the same time.
Yeah, and definitely let's get those G's in chat for Fryteeth and Rojo, who've already finished that seed 1. And like you said, we are seeing a little bit of a convergence, and we're at the 28-minute mark. 28 minutes is a bit long for one of these seeds. Normally I'm thinking, I'm aiming for the 20. That's my goal. If I hit 25, that's probably average. If I'm going up to that 28-30, I'm behind. I feel very behind if I'm finishing this first seed at 28-30.
Yeah, I don't. I'm guessing that people, especially Jat and Fryteeth, are making that estimation of feeling behind because of kind of what the standards are for the highest positions. But I mean, given that this was a Fun Dead boss pack and we were kind of limited on our offensive options, I can see someone also being like, you know what, other people are probably struggling too. Anyways, we're already seeing the magic of Seed 2. And we've got a potential white casters in the form of those fighters when they promote, but starting off with just this 1 black mage. So you can cast Ice 2, Fire 2, and Break to get us going. Those will be the things that we kill Garland and the pirates with.
Well, it looks like...
And yeah, Luffy did wipe the most recent attempt on the Phantoms, and Jat is down to just 1 Light Warrior here. A Cure 4 went out on one of the Phantoms, and there's a crit, so Jat is going to have to make another redive, while Fryteeth is onto Garland for Seed 2, and Rojo should be following shortly behind.
Yeah, and you find Jat in that tough situation, and Luffy too, that you get wiped down in that first Topher dive, and you're wondering, hey, is this because of turn order, or is this because I don't have enough equipment, or I don't have enough levels, or what is it? So typically, the recommendation is if you've done 3 dives and you still haven't won, go do something else. But they're close enough that they might feel like if they have the right turn order, they might be able to take out the Fun Dead pack. But we'll have to see.
Yep. Black Magic in Provoca on Seed 2 has Lit 2. That's not super great. We see the Defense Sword and some other options in the weapon shop there. King had the bottle and Sarah has the rod, or sorry, vice versa. King had rod, Sarah had bottle. So again, not super important key items so far, just those are experience rocks for us. Luffy back on the Phantoms, going with defense fade, that kind of stuff, pretty standard. Has actually already taken out 1 Phantom, so looking up, but the white mage goes down. This nuke, however, it's taking out 1, 2, 3... Okay, wow. I'm pretty sure Luffy gets through this time.
Yeah, I think all of those nukes were in the 380, 390 damage range. And Luffy's about to finish this. And there you go. Get your G's in chat for Luffy finishing our very first seed. And so we have 3 of our on-stream runners have finished that first seed. And we have, it looks like Jat is taking his next dive, and he should be heading off to find out what's happening in his next shot.
We got some important developments here in Provoca in the second seed. The bugged low price crown is available for 155 gold in the shop. So yay, crown! That can only happen to crown, which is great for this format because it's cheap, and now we know that we can do that whole sequence to Astos and Latoya and yada yada. Also, Bicky gave us a piece of equipment. I couldn't see through the stream visuals if it was Maza or Power Gauntlet, but we have one of the pieces of gear that helps us win, thanks to Bicky.
Yeah, it looks like Jack did get high rolls on his AoE cast. He has only one Phantom up, so it looks like Jack's going to be joining our other 3 runners on Seed 2 in the very near future.
Yeah, just that pesky Gear 4 comes out on one of the Liches, but the Lich is not going to threaten his remaining Light Warriors.
Yeah.
Sages in Seed 2 have the Cube. As far as the armor and weapon shops go so far, I've seen some sort of middle of the road decent armors. I don't think I've seen any of the stuff we really super want, particularly ribbons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely
Sarah has the tail. I think. Wow, I wonder if you promote this Seed 2 party because you have 2 knights that could potentially get that magic upgrade.
Yeah, I think part of that's going to depend on what white magic is in those first 4 levels. I wasn't able to see what we saw in level 1 and level 2, but if you end up with like a Knight Learnable Fade or a Knight Learnable Life or Ruse or Saber, that's definitely something I would just run and promote immediately.
Yeah, only going to be the first 3 levels. Ninja can go to 4, Knight can only go to 3.
Right.
Freyteeth going to attempt to break Astos. This is not going to go as quickly as he hopes. Astos is very high MDef, I think around 170. So yeah, probably want to switch to physical. Actually, I don't think Lit 2 even gets there unless Astos rolls really low. So we might have to see Freyteeth come back to this fight with more resources.
Yeah, it looks like Rojo found some sorcerers, and Luffy is traveling around, Jack getting all of his items, and Luffy checking Dwarf Cave. Ooh, wow, he picked up the ruby. So this is a very great move for Luffy, and the fact that we do have some of our key items that are loose in chests. So you might find the TNT or the ruby in one of these open chests. And again, that's just another 20% of experience. So if he's the only... Ooh, and there's our ribbon -2, but it's super expensive in Malmond.
Yeah, so we're not getting those until the very end of the grind, unlike the sort of the luxurious ones you can get right at the beginning so that your grind is safer. Freyteeth, after dumping a bunch of Lit 2s and Ice 2s into Astos, did get through that fight.
I forgot what I was going to say. We had ribbons, and there was something else that I saw that Luffy found. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so guns blazing, everyone is in Seed 2, going around their particular divergent routes. Rojo is prioritizing that promotion, wants to make sure that as soon as those knights are getting levels, they're not missing those magic charges.
Well, the other benefit of having that early promotion is that you also have access to like the Dragon Armor, the Aegis Shield, Opal Armors, Vorpals, all of those extra armor pieces and some of the higher tier weapons are now available to you. So you either promote now and know that you're going to get all 4 spell slots and be able to put on that armor and weaponry early, or you're going to risk having to find yourself in a situation in mid-game where you're wishing you were promoted.
Yep.
I like the play, personally. And it looks like Luffy is going to be shortly behind in the promotion as he's checking the Cardia Isles for a ribbon.
Nice. And so we've got a bunch of our AoE questions are being answered here now. Elfland was kind enough to give us a nuke at level 3 and then the choice between Lit 3 and Fire 3 at level 4. So we've got like the primary nuke that's going to get us our levels, take down our big packs, and then the secondary, like if you run out of charges but you need like 1 more to finish off a pack, you've got the backup. Freyteeth stocking up while Luffy and Rojo continue to clear out the Cardia Isles for both their loot and, of course, turning in their promotion paperwork to Bahamut. And we see white shirts also in the Elfland armor shop.
And the other important thing we just saw was Zeus gauntlets for very, very cheap. AoE, some of those AoE spell weapons and armors are super important in these seeds, especially if you're running 2 fighters and a black mage. As nice as fighters are to be melee, sometimes you just need some extra AoE spells, and those Zeus gauntlets, the Thor hammer, black shirt, all of those things are going to help add to that AoE damage.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, one thing you might see is like, because there are those AoE pieces of gear available, someone could find a tile that's like not quite enough experience if it's like 2 or 3 characters, but they're low HP, and if you can take them out with just a fighter and one of those things like a black shirt, like a Zeus gauntlet, that'll pile all the experience on one melee, which can be the route to victory in seeds where you do need a very powerful melee for the boss.
I mean, just think about that Gurmedusa tile that we saw in the previous seed. You know, if they roll low enough, the Gurmedusas can go down to a simple Zeus or Thor or black shirt cast.
And well, if Mage Staff, they resist ice.
Right. Mage Staff. So if you end up, which is again available in a shop, if you bring a Mage Staff down, you could solo fighter 6 or 7 of those Gurmedusas and get massive amounts of experience, whereas if you just had the fighter, there's no way you're going to spend the time to just chip through all 7 of those particular enemies.
We have our first grind tile check upcoming, and Ghosts with Dazzle are in ambushing are in Temple of Fiends. I think you just kill this once and leave, or you reset. It's not something that's very special. 5 ghosts on a screen isn't even that much experience, and it carries a little bit too much risk from their physical attacks. So Frighteeth switching it up to go to the Earth Cave. Rojovision was just clearing out the key locks there in Elfland. He's going to make his shops and find the blessing that is level 3 nuke.
Yeah, we've been finding some decent armor and weaponry around. Oh, there's that Mage Staff. So we have a Mage Staff -5 for just about 5,000. We do have, it looks like the crown has been accessible. So we have Jat at the moment is turning in all of those items. Again, all that's going to do is increase the amount of experience they're getting. And you see Frighteeth here with our Frosties. And that's, again, depending on how they roll, that could be a nice, quick level jump. Or if they have a high amount of defense or high magic defense, then it could be something that you want to get out of as soon as possible.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone with a strat. I think he's intending to grind 2 characters anyways, but that top knight was up there taking the hits so that the other 2 characters could get through the fight alive on this first try. And they've already jumped up to, I think, the high teens. He's got no warp charges, though, so he's going to have to go back to this mummy tile.
Which the mummy tile is typically a good tile as well, depending on if they get like a skill or or some sort of spell. So it's one of those, hey, where is the point where you found the right tile that you want to kind of sit on? And I'm not really surprised that Frighteeth is going to try to check some other options before potentially coming back to this and sitting into that grind.
Yeah, it took more than 2 rounds of nuke to kill the Frost Dragons, so that's pretty much a no-go. Another thing to note in this seed is that we don't have any pre-promotion healing magic. So people are not only going to need to have healing potions for Temple of Things Revisited, they might need to stack up on healing potions for their initial grinding, which is not something you see all that often in a quick format like Chaos Rush.
I do want to point out, this is the second time that Frighteeth has gone down a marsh cave. And, typically we avoid marsh at all costs, but with random enemy formations, I mean, you have no idea what's going to be there anyway. The benefit to marsh is not just this trap tile, which is Cerebus's. Fire 2 is not the thing that you want to see, but there is always a chance that they could give you a good chunk of experience. It looks like they go down to 1 nuke. But again, this is a key item chest. If this is a key item, which it's the ship, that's an immediate 20% increase on all experience and gold. And so now he's going to get substantially more experience than some of our other runners will. We'll see if that ends up making a difference in these, again, very, very short seeds. and we'll see if this pays off for Fryteeth.
Unfortunately, he didn't save, so he's been ambushed by these Sabertees and Catmen. Yeah, so he's actually probably going to lose the levels and the ship. He does. So it's a little unfortunate on his side. He's looking to promote. He might have seen something in shops that said like, "I need these things," which made him change his plan initially compared to like Rojo and Luffy, who promoted right away.
Yeah, and we saw Rojo just encounter the exact same ghost tile, and after getting dazzled, he reset pretty quick. We have Jat, who's just gotten his tail. Fryteeth is doing a promotion. Luffy is taking out Astos, and Rojo is, it looks like, getting some extra spells and weaponry, having already promoted. Now he can actually get some of those spells to be using on his fighters.
Yep, Jat's in the Earth Cave, which is, we're going to see the same 2 tiles here on the left side in Hall of Giants. I don't think anyone has shown us the 3rd spike tile, the one up or down by the treasure chests on the 1st floor, interestingly enough.
Yeah. And we do have that Vorpal in the shop. It did roll very low. It's in Canaria. Again, it's one of those things that you end up checking every single weapon shop until you find things like, and it was like, Fryteeth bought the Vorpals anyway with their super high crit rate, even with the -3 buff. It looks like Rojo has found those dragon armors, which rolled up and are very cheap, and so that's going to be the best armor in the game for those 2 fighters.
Absolutely.
Luffy is turning in his herb. Jat is again checking those spike tiles, and it looks like Fryteeth's about to do his dive into Volcano again to check those top 2 Volcano tiles.
Yeah, and Jat is going to give us our first look at the spike tile here that adjacent to this top chest. Fryteeth, I think, has maybe encountered sort of a French vanilla Grey Worm tile here. I didn't see which one he checked first. Jat resets super quickly, so maybe we just don't want to be in Earth Cave. And he's off to Northwest Castle now.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we've seen Northwest either. This is one of my favorites, honestly. If I've with Giant Tile, if I have the crown, I'm going to be checking the Northwest tiles because there's 2 tiles right next to each other. There's 3 chests, and I mean, I found ribbons, mage staffs, all sorts of things in those chests. Or a glove, and 9 gold in a tent.
Well, Northwest is bad, and so is the first 4 volcanoes, so we're going to start busting out the esoteric grind tiles. Fryteeth is an ice cave.
Yeah, and I mean, uniquely, like the run that we had on Sunday, we had a lot of very early overworld encounters. It doesn't seem like we've gotten early overworld encounters in these seeds, which kind of, like, I hope we find something in seed 3. But this is where our runners are like, if I was one of these runners, I would be freaking out right now because I've checked some of my favorite grind tiles and none of them are any good. And now I have to start, as you said, going to some of those more rare like tiles to see if I can find something that's actually workable.
Yeah, and Fryteeth has found another tile here at the right side, which normally has, I believe, a couple of mages in vanilla. That was a no-go with cockatrices and mummies. The eye tile is yet another. We've seen 3 spike tiles with mummy formations. Ocho's and Carib's down here on what is normally sort of the Ice Cave Fun Dead pack. We've got 2 more spike tiles total in Ice Cave. We've got the Frosty tile is Asps, and we got to go check out the Frost Wolf tile. And if that's nothing, then like, do you go bottom Volcano? Or no, Marsh Keylok. We haven't seen Marsh Keylok yet.
Yeah, I think Fryteeth did, and it was Cerebus's.
Cerberus's was the incentive chest, but the Keyloks haven't been seen.
Oh, the Keylok tile. So, like, we just saw Jat end up... Ooh, Fryteeth...
I wouldn't get too excited right away. Blue Dragons have like 600 vanilla HP.
Yeah. Again, I had a bad experience with Gasties on Sunday, so I kind of have this, like PTSD when it comes to finding a dragon tile. But yeah, with what they've already taken, it looks like they have quite a large amount of HP.
Well, do they? That was 2 rounds at most. I mean, he's alive, and he got the levels, so if he can get through this one more time...
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. We did see. It looks like Luffy's willingly going back to the ghost tile, which, if he's able to survive, I mean, he just jumped up to level 18, and it looks like he's attempting that grind. We'll see how these Gasties work.
Yeah, the variance, unfortunately, you're seeing him pull a formation of 2 ghosts here when it can roll up to 5, and if you're getting like 2 or 3 a fight, you're literally leveling up half as quickly as you potentially could. So there's RNG that just goes into the formations that you roll when leveling in this format that can affect your total time.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like Fryteeth is very much depending on turn order. So he gets it again, which he's going to get. Wow, he's already at level 28. So at this point, knowing that you can get them down in maybe 2 or 3 turns with 2 of your light warriors, if he has the heal pots for this could be a place that he settles down. But given that he's probably going to use up maybe half of his load of heal pots at the moment, it might not be worthwhile just for that reason. And he almost got wiped. He almost lost that Black Mage.
Yeah.
And do you want to risk having a wipe or losing that Black Mage?
Right, and then having to walk out with just the fighter. Yeah. I mean, granted, they're not going to find a lot of random encounters, so the walkout isn't too dangerous, but it is slow. But he is out. He's going to preserve his levels. I saw him get up to level 28. Jat is maybe just saying, you know what, everything sucks. I'm just going to do mummies here in Earth Cave. Yeah, Jat is in fact settled on mummies. So it's one of those seeds where it's like, nothing's great. What's second best? What's third best? What's in that C tier of grinds?
Yeah. Well, it looks like Fryteeth is picking up some defense swords, which I always love to play. Being at level 28 on this flag set, he should feel fairly comfortable diving into Topher, especially if he did pick up some of that dragon armor. And we'll see if he goes there after this. At least it would give the information data.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready. If you look like the Vorpals really suck, right? The Vorpals only have crits, so if you're not pumping them up with some other gas, like Temper, like the Power Gauntlet, then they're going to take a while to deal real damage. He just found Fast, though, so that's a reason to promote. People might need to visit Gaia here to get their copy of Fast. That changes the calculation quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, and it looks like Rojo did check Waterfall. I couldn't tell exactly what he found. I know he found
water. Water in the waterfall.
Oh, but you know what? Waters are a great tile to come up with. And it looks like they go down with either a Vorpal Swing or like a high roll nuke. So this might be another one of those tiles that you try to figure out, hey, is this going to be a place that I can just settle down and take a couple of these fights?
Yeah, and it looks like he got the better of the 2 water formations. There's a 1 to 3 waters and a 3 to 6 in the game, and he's using that Zeus Gauntlet as well as the nuke charges, and seems to be one-rounding this fight. So yeah, kind of an out-of-the-way tile, but when everything stinks, Waterfall becomes a play, and he's got Warp, like we've seen many of the runners using Warp so far, to make the return trip quite quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at 14-something, like 14,000 experience with all 3 Light Warriors up, that's going to bring the entire party, whereas Fryteeth was getting about that same amount, but we only had 2 Light Warriors. I like this water tile. I think this water tile is the best tile that we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, looks like Fryteeth wants one more look here in Earth. Maybe he hadn't seen... Oh, this... Interesting. There are 2 different Cerberus tiles, but this one doesn't roll as many on average as the Marsh Cave. The reason we didn't stick, I think, in Marsh Cave, as someone in chat suggested, is that we did have Fire 2 come out of the Cerberuses, and early in the game we didn't have ribbons because they cost 40,000. So, yeah. But I think he just wants to polish off his levels a little bit. Maybe grind up for an extra hit on the Vorpal. The problem is Vorpal -3. That's level 35 before you're getting a 5th hit.
Yeah, and again, and we're starting to see this difference. Luffy's flying around. It looks like he might make a Topher dive, or he's going back to those ghosts. We've seen Fryteeth jump to a number of different tiles. We're seeing Rojo and Waterfall, but this entire time, Jat's been sitting on this mummy tile. So it might not be giving him the greatest experience rate, but the fact that he's not traveling around everywhere, he's already at level 29 with all of his Light Warriors, and it looks like he's going for probably a low 30. It's just, again, it's another approach to these particular flags. Do I go try to find the best tile, or do I take meh and make meh work?
Yeah, it's probably one of the very few times in all of Final Fantasy Randomizer where you can use the phrase "slow and steady wins the race."
Mm-hmm. Speed and power is the more common phrase that we use, but again, and like you said, slow
Speaking
and
of speed and
steady.
power, Luffy has sped his way into Topher. Just note, he's already on Tiamat too.
Yeah, I haven't seen. It looks like he already has defense swords. I didn't see what levels he brought himself up to. But if this is chaos, like the chaos and 8 garlands, I mean that doesn't require level 30 something and crazy amounts of spells and like avoid buffs and everything.
Mm-hmm. And he's swinging something that is not a Vorpal on at least one of those nights. There was an orange sword. I couldn't tell which one. Maybe like the Sun sword. I think I saw Sun -1 or so this seed. Or there was also defense -1. He might be using defense as a weapon potentially.
Yeah, I mean, defense is still a very effective weapon, especially if you don't have very many other, like if you don't have that Vorpal, if you don't have that X-Cal that's rolled well, defense can still do a ton of damage.
Yeah, the low crit rate to begin with, and when it rolls down, it's basically never critting. So left side is Tiamat and Carry. So I'm not sure which side you'd consider faster or more difficult, but we've got Rojo going to the right. That's got the Kraken.
I think it all depends on whether or not the Kraken rolls a high evade. Because if Kraken rolls high evade, that just nullifies those two fighters, and you're relying on nukes. It looks like he's getting a couple good hits in.
He's actually, it's a nuke and locker in the same slot. Rojo opted for a lock, which tells you something. It means that there must have been enough evade for him to switch off the nuke.
Mm-hmm.
And Fryteeth is in Topher now too. So once again, a somewhat linear seed in that like runners were kind of funneled to between a couple of bad choices and didn't have room for much divergence because they're converging at Topher at the same time.
Yeah. It looks like Jat picked up some Ice 1s in Provoca, and is doing his equipping, so I would expect to see him in Topher shortly. Luffy did lose his Black Mage going into this final Fiend fight, and we'll get our first look at the Fiends for the final. Oof.
Oh, this is, well, I mean, you defense up and you pray for turn order. Whichever of the two knights has the power gauntlet can definitely win this. But the War Mechs are going to have to not have, like, non-elemental AoEs that suck away that HP pool.
Yeah, if you get something like a nuclear on each of those War Mechs, you're in trouble. But if all they're doing is punching, which that's all we've seen from both the War Mechs and the Evil Men, he's already got his second defense out on both of those fighters. This might be a very quick finish to this Topher.
We're about to see Rojo pull the boss as well, and Fryteeth probably after finishing Carry, assuming he does not wipe on Carry. So we're going to see a lot of simultaneous boss fights and see where the strategies diverge. Of course, Rojo has the luxury of having a Black Mage to instantly start clearing out the Badman, and he actually picked up Invis too on one of his knights, so thinking on his toes there, get some party-wide evasion stacking going.
So we have Luffy putting out Power Bonk on that bottom fighter, which is a great move to wipe out those War Mechs quickly. But again, you have Rojo, who I don't know if he picked up fast, but if he did pick up fast, that's going to put him well above Luffy, even with Power Gauntlet.
Yeah. So the fast, I mean, the priority here between fast and nuke is like, which one do you do? It looks like Fryteeth let off with a nuke when he had the two options, but the fighter's already dead, so that's probably going to be a reset for him. While Luffy, I think, just gets through here based on inevitability. Having two fighters up that got turn order on the evasion stacking seems to be the way to win this fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I haven't seen anything but swings from any of these War Mechs, so it looks like the way to victory is max evade and then start swinging.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Luffy has really made a comeback in this second seed here. He was behind. He was one of the later runners into seed 2 compared to Rojo and Fryteeth's early lead, but he's pulling to basically even with Rojo, and Fryteeth has then slipped a bit behind, and Jat probably about same pace as Fryteeth.
Which I would say, Jat was our last runner to finish up seed 1. He's now pretty much where Fryteeth was. I think he's picking up carry in this next fight. So he should be in that actually, I guess he would be Lich. He should be at that alt final pretty soon. And it looks like Luffy's going to be finishing up this Warmech any moment now.
Yep, this is basically inevitable for Luffy. That is the high HP Warmech still working, but it's not doing damage to anything. God, was that really a physical only Warmech? Either way, get out your second of 3 Gs for Luffy, who's finished seed 2.
Yeah, I think that was a purely melee alt final boss. I didn't see any spells or abilities come out of any of them. Oh, and get out your GGs for Rojo, who just finished seed 2 as well. Depending on the strategy, I see defenses coming out from Jat. I see a nuke coming out. Jat could be shortly. Ooh, and it looks like those evil men rolled low. They all have less than 200 HP. So that starting nuke actually might make this a much, much faster fight for Jat than it did for Luffy or Rojo.
Yep. So Jat and Fryteeth both pulled into this fight with their full complement of Light Warriors. The fighters, of course, on top to take all those hits, keeping the Black Mage more safe, I say, but then Fryteeth just got clocked. And yeah, as long as like a nuke and a fast go out, and even then, right, you can slowly get through the fight with just a melee, but as long as the nuke and fast go out, you're in good shape. So Jat, he's into the stage of inevitability here. Fryteeth, if he gets solid turn order the rest of the way, will be joining him shortly. So yeah, we actually have seen an overtaking of the lead by our bottom 2 runners here on screen, Luffy and Rojo. And they've got level 1 Warp, I saw, and maybe I was confused. I think if it's confused, it's a way to kill the pirates.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I did see a tier 3, I think, in the white magic. So, Warp is great for getting some of those extra key items. Like that Marsh Dive is now looking a little bit nicer to me. Not to mention, if you beat Garland, you can actually take the airship up to warp out of Canaria Castle to go back to Topher after rescuing Sarah.
Yep, Luffy opting to go hit up Matoya for some cash. Now, there's an interesting weapon. It's a little too expensive. There's a Silver Dagger +5 in the shop that both of those mages could equip. So I could see a world where you get a little cash, you go buy Silver Dagger +5 and go kill Garland. But the best play is probably buying Confuse and going straight to the pirates.
Yeah. And get your GGs out for Jat finishing up seed 2. And we're at the 1 hour mark. Geez, at the 1 hour mark, you were probably in Topher for that last seed, and I think it kind of just goes to show that, like, these Chaos Rush seeds, you do not know what the difficulty level is going to be. Some of these CR seeds, you'll get into teens of minutes, and these are all 4 great runners, and they're taking 30, 40 minutes to some of these seeds. This is a tough set of Chaos Rush seeds.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you don't have a black belt, things get a little bit harder because the black belt kind of guarantees certain inevitability as long as you get an experience, where there are a lot more variables if you have to rely on fighters or thieves. Fryteeth has 1 Warmech left and 2 fighters, so I think he wins this just by numbers advantage, right? 2 to 1. So you'll see him get into C2 here shortly. Rojo is up in the Cardias once again, though with a black belt, so yeah, I don't expect him to promote. He's just doing the treasure chests. Luffy's gonna take out Garland here. He's actually gone with the strat of that silver knife. He's hitting for 2 hits and some decent damage on his red mage.
And let's out those GGs for Fryteeth as well, who just finished up seed 2. So, I don't know what you're thinking about this, but I don't feel like we've seen one runner use like a god tier strategy that the other runners didn't, and I'm not seeing a runner that's making significant mistakes. I'm
Yeah.
seeing 4 runners that are like approaching these seeds well, and they're just not presenting clear, this is the best way to run this seed. And like I said, at the 1 hour mark, just starting seed 3, I'm panicking if I'm one of these runners. So hopefully we're going to see them still keep their calm and just run these seeds as fast as they can.
Yeah, the first 2 seeds were there was no clear optimal strategy, but it was sort of like here's mediocre grinds, here's mediocre gear, and here's a pretty hard final boss, and like that set of circumstances put everyone in the Tofers and respectively around the same times. So there's not like they haven't been crushingly difficult, but they haven't been breezes with a clear path to victory. So yeah, I think you are seeing on average quite high level play with everyone on screen sort of taking advantage of what's the best available options in front of them and then just going with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jat was our first runner to go to Provoca, but he's got level 2 fast, lit 3, and lock 2. These are great black magic spells to have in this particular flag set. A low rolled katana, and I think that's a Vorpal. So not great weaponry, but that's some nice magic that you want to see. And we'll see if this is a magic seed or if this is going to be a melee seed.
Yeah.
I mean,
after we got through the
probably going to go to 32, but.
Yeah. After we got through that Garland fight with the silver knife, we don't need another melee weapon till the end of the game that isn't the defense sword, so not super fussed about like Vorpals rolling down.
Well, and I think Jat's our first runner. You know, he's pulled some imps here. I kind of assume that he's trying to get some levels here because yes, he found lit 3 and fast, but you need to be at level 2 or 3 to actually use those spells, and so he needs to be. He needs to get it at least to level 2 or 3 before he can actually use them. And I think that's what he's doing here with these imps.
And he's going to get there. He's going to get all these levels on his red mage, go up to maybe level 5 or so off this fight.
Level 8.
Wow, okay, cool. So he's level 8, he's got plenty of charges of lit 3, and he can start just clearing out all the initial bosses.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that is in this particular seed, we've seen a lot of mage staffs coming out, and again, it's those attack spell items that we kind of overlook because they're just it's lit 2, it's ice 2, that's not the greatest. When you're talking about these seeds and you're going against the pirates or some of these early grinds, you can get through a lot of this early game and get up to some of those mid-teens, maybe low 20s by utilizing mage staffs, black shirts, Zeus gauntlets, Thor hammers, so on and so forth.
Yep. Freyteeth has successfully gotten through pirates using confusion, though it was a bit dicey. He lost the black belt and nearly lost the black mage. Luffy and Rojo fighting the pirates simultaneously as well, while Jat is on Garland. Now, mind you, even though we see a lot of simultaneous pirate fights, Rojo and Luffy by far have an exploration advantage in the seed. With, in fact, there's already a Maza -2. There's a Maza for Rojo. Now that Maza, it's obviously not something you are trying to win with. You have a black belt, but it does enough damage that if you come across some kind of solo grind you need to get started for the black belt, that it's good enough.
Yeah, and we do see Jat pulling out strategy that actually we saw on Tuesday night, which was utilizing Warp to check Topher after defeating Garland. So Jat just pulled out probably 20, 30 something thousand gold, which compared to all the time it takes to go to the Cardia Isles and check all of those chests, you're doing 2 Cardia Isles in a fraction of the time. So we'll see if that gold advantage is actually going to start playing out as an advantage for Jat, or if our runners just end up not... we have Nuke at level 3 for only 203 gold.
Wow, we've had an early Nuke in every... early Nuke in these last 2 seeds. Did the first seed have a black caster? I don't remember. I think we've had early Nuke in every seed, though.
Jeez, that was years ago, man. Like that first seed was so long in the past. I have no recollection of what happened there.
Cool. Point is, yeah, we're being treated to a lot of early nukes. So Fryteeth, yeah, you were talking about the warp strat with Garland. I think by the last race, certainly on Saturday, we should hopefully see everyone pick up on what you're talking about, and that like you want to set yourself up to be able to not only warp to Garland, but also warp right back to your airship, so that you never even have to walk to Temple of Fiends a single time.
Yeah, and it looks like Rojo did find in Crescent Lake our Opal +5s. So this is another high defense seed where, prioritizing some of that high level armor is just going to ensure that you end up getting even some of these more dangerous encounter tiles that you can survive much, much, much earlier in the game.
Sages have the rod today, so we just took an old man's walking stick and just ripped it away from him. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and
something I think it's kind of funny. Fryteeth was trying to do the same thing that Jat did with the warp spell. He ends up isolating himself back at Temple of Fiends without the airship, has to walk back, runs into some Grimps, and then the Grimps poison touch his black belt, which means he needs to go to the shop to buy Pure. Just like a cascade of unintended consequences there.
Well, and it looks like Jat checking level. Ooh, wow. Okay, so Jat finding Ruse and Temper in level 4 magic. We do have Luffy with a worm tile, and it looks like they go down in 1, maybe 2 nuke casts.
It's a good thing that we have 2 nuke casters.
Yeah. Well, so it looks like it was just a random encounter in Topher. So it looks like Luffy's going off the hard reset to see if he can find that encounter. And if Luffy has found a low HP worm grind off of the hard reset, this is going to be a potential.
This is the kind of thing that gives you a game-winning edge for what it's worth.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it looks like finally, for the first time in 3 seeds, we have good grinds, given that Rojo Vision also found the Zombie Dragon Wizard Vampire tile here in Volcano.
Yeah, and it looks like Jat found an air encounter on the overworld. And it, I didn't... Ooh, and a Wormack!
So that's a random Wormack. Wormack is unleashed on this flag set, though I think that's the first one I've seen all week, and I've only seen one in practice seeds, none in the tournament races. But yeah, if you find a grindable Wormack, and I know that sounds like an oxymoron, grindable Wormack, but if you get to mid-high 20s or something with a black belt, you run into a random Wormack, cast fast and a couple nukes, and find that you can kill the Wormack, you'll be to 42 in 2 battles if you can finish it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and it does look like Luffy's finding out that those worms have less than 400 HP, so some of them are going down in 1 nuke. Again, I think Luffy found the tile, and the second that black belt is able to 1-punch these worms, you're going to see Luffy jump to 50 and then run right into Topher.
Yeah. Jat has found an overworld grind on metal slimes, which is pretty good. They're called slimes, metal slime, of course, being a reference to Dragon Quest 1, because of the defense and experience rating on these sort of, metal-colored slime enemies. Fryteeth has stumbled across an overworld grind of evil men and nightmares, which is actually pretty good, especially when you get the formation of all 4. But Luffy's just he's running away with this. Worms are so good. And he's already so high, while everyone else is still kind of looking for, I think, what they consider the optimal grind. Jat is on his 2nd of the slime fights, though, so I think he's maybe happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, he's in his upper teens, which if I found that fight, I would be kind of happy about it, but it's not a great black belt grind. It's a good party grind if you have casters. It is not a good black belt grind. Whereas this worm grind that Luffy's found is an amazing black belt grind. And if he can down this black mage, I'm sure it'd be maybe 2 fights before that black belt's at level 50.
Yeah. Assuming the black belt, doesn't get punched out or whatever by the worms. Worms do tend to have a high stat profile, but he's got saves for right outside, so he's not going to have to worry about losing his experience.
Yeah, and it looks like Jat also found that Nightmare Evilmen tile. So Jat, Fryteeth, and Rojo appear to be doing some grind shopping, and Luffy has found the grind of the seed, and we'll see how far he takes this particular grind.
By the way, Opal +5 for about 2,700 in Crescent Lake, and the defense sword as well. So that's like all of your end game there, minus ribbons. The Opal +5 has 44 absorb, so you can actually just leave it on the black belt. The black belt's probably never going to get to a point where it outstrips that much absorb.
Yeah, well, especially if you're looking for ribbons as well, just to get that extra sense of security against, a crack or a zap that might come out. Yeah, it looks like Jat's settling on this Evil Men and Nightmare tile. Fryteeth is still searching, Rojo's checking some shops, and Luffy is going to put this black belt grind, and we'll see how far he takes this before he does his first Topher grind, or his first Topher dive.
Yeah, Fryteeth, he's checking out a bunch of different encounter zones. Wasn't thrilled, but Jat is following the law, as you said, of just stay in one spot and take the mediocre grind. Like, it's better than nothing, and you save tons of travel time. And Fryteeth has also decided that, you know what, I'm not going to find anything better than Nightmare Evilmen as well. Rojo, however, promoting, so he's not going to go for the natural MDef on the black belt, which is the only downside to promoting early, but that's fine given that we're going to have Opal +5, and we're going to have ribbons and stuff from the shops.
Right. Well, and Classic Gamer 76 pointing out in chat that Tier 4 is Red Wizard learnable. So one advantage of doing that promotion is getting a Tier 4 cast. We don't quite know yet how difficult Topher is going to be. So you're kind of gambling with, do I spend the time getting the promotions and potentially waste a couple minutes running promotions and buying magic, where I could have been doing Topher grinds? But there's a good chance that this might allow Rojo to do an earlier dive than some of these other runners and be able to ooh, and the mass is actually for sale. I didn't see that. Massa -2 for sale for only a couple thousand.
Wait, if it's incentive, it can't be for sale. I think you saw someone in their sell menu.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably it. My screen's a little pixelated at the moment.
Yeah, so we see Fryteeth actually wiped out of just not a ton of time, but like a 2 fights worth of grind on these zombie dragons here in Earth Cave, which, despite the fact that he bought those opal bracelets, are hitting very hard.
Yeah, that's
looking like this is looking like a Topher dive. Luffy has been just blazing through this. Remember that everyone fell into Seed 3 at around the hour mark, so he's in here at 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's a great time. That's gonna make me feel a lot better about this. I think it looks like Jat's gone back to those slimes, which he's got 7 of them. Again, it's not a good black belt grind. Oof, but Tia having nuclear. And taking out that black mage, even though the black belt's able to one-punch him.
Yeah, that reduces your offensive capabilities for the upcoming fights, but it's still winnable, so I wouldn't reset yet. Jat might be going for a Dan strategy. I think he just wants the Metal Slimes to kill his top 2 characters. Maybe not. Hard to say, because he's picked up his airship and he's already moving, so that's out the window. Fryteeth still examining tiles here in Earth and finds Earths. And Rojo Vision has tried a Grushark spike tile in Volcano, but left it and has come back to the Wizvamps, and I think is going to settle in here. But Luffy is about to pull the boss.
And this is where it's going to make or break this dive. He's going to solo black belt. If he has something like Double Dragon, absolutely he's going to finish this. If he pulls something like War Mech or the Fun Dead, he
that's
just
the Fun Dead.
Immediately reset out.
Yeah, you have to get like defense stack up before anything acts, and then like have some lucky misses, no crits, get another turn where you get defense up before anyone attacks. It's nightmarishly low odds to win Fun Dead with a solo black belt. And there he is. He's buying his defense sword in Crescent Lake, so making the adjustment.
Well, but But on the side, on another idea, typically we focus on black belts for these seeds. Right now, for me, the black mage and the red mage are looking more enticing than the black belt. Because if I can throw out nukes and they have some of that lower HP, there's a chance that going fast and hard is going to be better than trying to sit there with my black belt and just start picking off phantoms, praying that I can get enough defenses out or just move fast enough to wipe the whole final boss.
Yeah, there's kind of a left and right slider that swings between melee favored and caster favored on these final boss formations. This is by far the most caster favored and the toughest for melee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even with Warmech and friends, like Warmechs hit hard and they're very scary because they have a lot of HP, but those evil men typically are not that much of a threat. Whereas in the Fundead, you're looking at Phantoms, which is much more of a threat than those Lich 2s are going to be.
Yep. So Jat, he's definitely going with the Dan strat. It took a while to get set up, but he's down to just a black mage of his two mages alive, and he's still swinging that unbuffed Maza to get through this grind, but he could actually take it off and deal much more damage, though I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah, I mean, a one-shot kill is a one-shot kill. Though it looks like that Nightmare's taking 2 swings, so I wouldn't be surprised. At level 29, he's probably gonna unequip that Mata in the near future.
Yeah, there it goes. Yep. You outstrip a Maza at level 27 or something like that in vanilla anyways, and one that rolled down like even sooner.
Yeah.
Luffy is through 2 fights and is heading down to the Fundead pack. He's prioritizing the survival of the black belt, so he's actually putting the casters up front, despite what we were just talking about, but it could be a viable strategy if he gets his evasion up high very quickly. So he's mixing strats here. He's going for evasion down on bottom as sort of the backup plan, but just firing off nukes and hoping that red mage down, black mage down. Is this another wipe? Oh, this is another wipe.
Oh yeah, that's almost the worst case scenario. When not only are you fighting Phantoms and Lich, which the Phantoms have a crazy amount of melee damage, but if they're also spitting out spells very quickly and high level spells, you have to come in with ribbons, or your party is just going to get destroyed.
Yep. So yeah, we continue to be in this formation of 3 people grinding, 1 person in Topher. Like Luffy's already seen the final boss twice before anyone else on screen has even been into Topher. So quite the commanding lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of curious if Luffy's going to change his strategy on this third dive. Maybe switching it around, keeping that black belt in front and prioritizing the casters. Maybe even put the black belt in front and do the defense ruse. That way, I mean, he's got the most HP of the entire party. He's got a ton of absorb. You throw the ruse on him, he's probably going to survive even more hits, and that just lets you push out some more of those nukes, just hoping that those Phantoms go down quicker rather than later.
All right, so it looks like Fryteeth is taking the 32 black belt, a team-wide, I think the team-wide is 32 approach, which, as we've discussed, is actually probably the better route for this seed than the solo black belt in terms of your capabilities and your survival on that final fight. And he is the second one into Topher, taking on Tiamat initially, while Luffy is starting to have some success here, I think. Like, a Phantom is dead. That's the most progress we've seen so far.
Yeah, it looks like they have about 700 HP or so. And so this nuke is going to take out the rest of those Phantoms, and now we have an already 2 times defense black belt. So unless something crazy happens, like a nuclear nuke, we're probably going to see Luffy finish this up in relatively quick fashion.
Oh yeah, this is over, I think. And well, I mean, turn order nuke, but yeah, I think we're good. All right, get out your GGs in chat. 3 Gs if you want to be on theme for Luffy, who was finished in first place with an official FFR Discord race spot time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 25 seconds for 3 quite challenging seeds. Great display on the night. Knew the flags well, executed well. Just really solid performance overall.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that we kind of talked about earlier is that Luffy found that worm tile. Like, he found that worm encounter, and it was probably just he happened to get the encounter while in Temple of Fiends, but that clearly made a difference between Luffy and all of the rest of our runners. Jat taking his black belt to 42, Fryteeth getting even levels across the board. Yeah, excellent run by Luffy. Definitely worth the GGs for him.
All right, and Fryteeth has pulled the Fun Dead Party Pack. Will he get the turn order? Will his characters die to punches? The Ice 3 is like, yes, you resist it, but Ice 3 even resisted does a lot of damage. So that's like relevant chip damage coming in from the Liches. And yeah, like look at how much that's doing. That actually took out one of his black mages. So he took out a Phantom the first turn, but I don't think he's gonna have what it takes to get through this fight. He's only 100 and some odd HP on both his remaining characters, and only one more Phantom went down in that second round. Yeah, and Lich just refuses to die. His black belt, despite being over 32, is not punching that hard. It's not really getting any crits. And one Phantom remains up. It's just like, this is right on a razor's edge if possible. But, oh no, a slow 2! No, that's the worst!
Oh. And that black goes down.
That's a redive for Fryteeth. Jat and Rojo are taking care of the Fiend refights. Jat is about to pull the Fun Dead, while Rojo is just one Fiend behind here. So really tight race once again, with all the runners kind of converging on their Topher and final boss attempts within minutes of each other. And it looks like we have our first place finisher. Luffy is in the booth with us, so welcome and GGG's on the night.
Hey guys, GG's, thank you.
Luffy, how are you feeling right now?
Oh, dude, man, I'm over the moon right now, man. That was a lot of fun. That's the first time I've ever won a race, so I'm so hyped right now.
Hey, congrats on your victory. That's a big milestone in your FFR career.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, how did you feel about these? I mean, I'm sure you did a whole bunch of practices, but like, how did these seeds compare to what you were expecting in practice?
So, in a lot of the practice I didn't see a whole lot of Undead and Warmech and friends. And when I saw them every time tonight, I was like, oh, great, this is going to be fun. So the seeds overall, like the all final bosses, were definitely challenging, but I mean, they were pretty straightforward. Get the crown in the first one and the second one made the XP gains pretty good. And then finding those worms and Topher off the hard reset really, I think, made the difference for me in the third seed.
Yeah, look at this adjustment here from Rojo. He went on a turn where he didn't cast Nuke. He actually cast Cure 4 from his Red Wizard rather, to get that black belt way back up to full HP. This could be the difference maker for him. It's going to be very close. He needs turn order here. Oh my god, he doesn't get it!
Oh, that was so close.
Wow. Yeah, we've seen some just razor-thin margins here. Rojo could have been over the finish line. Fryteeth could have been over the finish line. Instead, they're both making multiple redives, multiple attempts, and Jat is coming up quickly behind them.
Yeah, so Luffy, just talking about those worms, were you trying to find an encounter in Temple of Fiends, or was it just one of those you were trying to walk out and, oh my god, this is an amazing grind?
Actually, I was talking with my teammates Bert and Life Reboot and Shadowed about overworld grinds earlier in the week, and I said to myself, if I saw there was a fast encounter off the walk from Corneria to Topher on my way to get Garland, I would check an overworld encounter or two before I went and looked at any spike tiles, and I figured the best place to go and look was right there in Topher, just to see what was there. So to come across those worms right away, I was like, oh, I don't even got to go anywhere else. I can just stay right here. And you're right where you want to be anyway. So it was just, it was lucky, and it was also just very fortunate.
Yeah, I want to say the luck element there, especially because this flag set has half of the encounter rate in the dungeons as the overworld, and the overworld's already low. So
Yeah.
often it'll be the case that you get a quick overworld encounter and you don't get the same one in the dungeon. So it happened to show up in both places, and it was worms for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not much better to find than worms when you're trying to gain XP, especially with the black belt. And they were like only about 300, 350 HP, so they were pretty squishy. They went down real quick.
Yeah, by the way, Rojo has a black belt, or black mage rather, alive with a ribbon against 2 liches. This is winnable. He doesn't care about slow 2 because he doesn't care about how much physical damage he's doing. He's out of nuke charges though. He's going to have to switch to backup AoE. Now Zap can hit Lich 2. Zap has 17% or so chance to hit Lich 2, but he's going to switch to damage because he's already done so much, and he's punching out with Lich 3. This could be a winning strategy, but the Liches could strike back with chip damage of their own from their magic. This is going to be so close once again. A physical attack from the Lich actually did a respectable amount of damage. He's only working with 50 remaining HP. Oh, man. Oh, my God. The physical from Lich. Oh, you never see that. Wow.
Oh, that's 2 in a row for Rojo. But you know what? He's going right back at it. He's not stopping. He's gonna do this dive again, and he should be winning this particular fight. And he got the bad turn order. And sometimes all you gotta do is just keep rediving. You could go out and get some more levels, but then you're gonna be using up a couple extra minutes that the next dive could have done it. So if I was in Rojo's seat, I'd probably be doing the exact same thing.
God, you're kidding. Wait, Fryteeth had the Phantoms cleared. He was set to probably win it, but all his characters are like 100 HP or less, and Nuclear comes out from Lich and wipes them. That's tilting.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things with these seeds, tilting is the right word. The point of these seeds is not to like do very well in 3 seeds. It's to do very well in 3 seeds while tilting from seed 1, trying not to let it affect seeds 2 and 3. So that's definitely what this. Oh, and Jat2980, blink and you missed it. He takes down the Fun Day Party Pack, and Jat is our second runner on stream who has finished Seed 3, and that's good enough for 3rd place overall, with Demon Frog coming in 2nd with a 128.34, Jat2980 with a 129.09. Let's get our triple G's in chat for Jat.
Yeah, the on-screen timer looks to be a bit behind. We've got Rojo and Fryteeth. Sorry, not Rojo. Rojo and never mind. You know what? Just forget that I spoke. I'm reading the wrong times off of our Discord while there's different things happening on screen here. But GGG's for Jat, who should be joining us in the booth here shortly. And we are joined by Jat. Welcome and GGG's.
Thank you very much. Wow. I was just talking in my team chat. I'm so happy this is a team game because I was so ridiculously tilted after the first seed, but the only thing that kept me going was like, okay, doesn't matter where I finish. I need to finish this well for my team, and it turned out I got really, really lucky with an absolute brick wall party pack at the end that let me catch up.
Yeah, it's uncommon to see this flag set go to, let alone beyond like hour 15, hour 20, but to an hour and a half plus for most runners, with all the seeds having bad bosses and in a lot of cases mediocre grinds we saw tonight as well. Like just nothing seemed to go well. It wasn't like a thing that said just like, yeah, this is my seed. It was all, you gotta have to improvise.
Yeah, I felt like nothing felt easy in the seed. Like nothing felt given. I didn't know if it was because I was nervous or anything, but like I had run 15 or something of these beforehand. And like outside maybe the first 3 or 4, none had felt like so, just nothing wanted to get started.
But speaking of getting things started and finishing them, Rojo has finished in 4th place overall here with a race bot time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 6 seconds. So GGG's for Rojo. And we were down to this one Light Warrior situation, but Fryteeth pulls in right behind just 40 seconds later, 50 seconds later than Rojo. So that's 5th place, GGG's for Fryteeth as well. Everyone on stream has finished, and yet there are still 5 people going, which tells you just how much of a pain in the rear end this particular set of seeds was tonight.
Yeah, how far behind was I after Seed 1? Because Seed 1 was actually the worst seed I've ever finished in terms of timing. I've forfeited all the other ones.
I think you were like 3 to 4 minutes behind. It wasn't a terrible lead, and you caught up on Seed 2 mostly to the other players.
Oh, okay. I only caught the end of the stream, so I wasn't in tow for that much after them then.
Yeah, like Seed 2 saw people catapult back to the front. Like initially it was Fryteeth and Rojo Seed 1. Seed 2,
Okay.
you and Luffy caught up, and then Seed 3, Luffy just took off in front of everyone with the worm grind off the hard reset in TOF.
Oh, that, yeah, okay, no, I did not see that.
Yeah, I got kind of lucky to come across that.
I was pretty happy with my Nightmare grind that I found. That was probably the best, like the most happy I'd been with finding a grind in the entire flag set, actually.
Well, and we're also joined here in the booth by Rojo, our 3rd place winner on stream. Rojo, triple G's, man. That
Yeah, GG, Rojo.
Rojo, I feel emotionally like I want to just give you a hug after just so close to finishing those last couple seeds or those last couple dives, and just having the worst of turn order. Like, how are you feeling after that?
I was starting to get kind of annoyed, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I accidentally was just, I don't know, trying to rush too much, and then I took the Kraken 2 tile like twice by accident and had to reset out of that. But yeah, I mean, man, I really thought I had it that very first time when it was really close. But yeah, I didn't get the turn order, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, we did too. We were definitely pulling for you here in the booth. And just for our other runners who might not have seen it, Rojo had 2 different dives that wound up with him versus one of the Lich 2s, and turn order wiped the last Light Warrior of his party. But like, kind of as I was saying, it's not one of those like did the right thing, did the wrong thing, like early dive, late dive. It was rando's got a rando, and sometimes you just got to dive back in, and that definitely earned you a good finish in this particular race.
Yeah, them's the breaks, unfortunately, but that's all right. I'm not a big fan of Chaos Rush in general, but overall, over the course of the tournament, I've been having quite a bit of fun. So if things, I mean, as far as like me finishing, this is one of my better finishes anyway. So, as far as like these flags go, they didn't exactly go my way, but it's still a good time for the most part.
Yeah. Well, and we are also joined by our 4th place runner on stream, Fryteeth. And like, even though 4th place runner on stream, 5th or 6th overall, in what we've been talking about is one of the more difficult sets of Chaos Rush seeds. So triple G's for you, Fryteeth. It's definitely a good run tonight.
This is absolutely the gauntlet, so GG's on getting through all of it.
Yeah, those first 2 just felt really slow. I mean, I have no idea where I was. I assume I felt way behind after those first 2 seeds, and just was trying to push it there in the 3rd one.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were all pretty neck and neck for the first 2. I mean, there was one of you would pop a little bit ahead or fall a little bit behind. Really, I would say the only thing that really separated you guys, other than just turn order on that last final boss, is Luffy finding a worm grind in the first floor of Temple of Fiends right off the hard reset. So, you know, Jat and Fry Teeth, you guys were both trying to find the right grind, looking at those nightmares and evil men. Meanwhile, Luffy he found the grind with, like, I think less than 300 HP, and that was really the one thing that pushed him ahead of the rest of the pack.
Oh, the worms had 300 HP too?
Ooh.
Yep.
Juicy.
I got fat off them pretty quick.
Yeah, this one could have gone anyone's way. I mean, even with Luffy's lead, we still saw, I think, 2 wipes to the final boss, and then, of course, each of the rest of you also had your wipes. But, like, Rojo and Fryteeth in particular had multiple moments where it was down to, like, you know, just 1 or 2 enemies on screen and just, like, 1 or 2 light warriors. And if you get the turn order, you get through, and it was, like, repeatedly being sent back. I can see absolutely for a lot of runners the tilt would be piling up by your 4th or 5th dive.
Well, especially I think that slow 2 came out of the liches towards the end of one of those that just completely negates the black belt's effectiveness. I mean, like, again, you get to that point with, you know, it's more about how do you stay calm while you're also, like, burning inside with anger and tilting hard about these seeds, and just focus on what needs to be done to finish.
Yeah, I would have been far more tilted if I didn't have the advantage of watching a couple races before this and seeing how the fun dead pack actually works, because I haven't really done much Chaos Rush, but it seems like the winning strategy was kill them before they kill you. And that's what I went with.
That's a worthwhile strategy. Definitely a worthwhile strategy. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious, just like after that run, like how are you guys feeling, just in terms of, like, the greater perspective of you know, the FFR Fall League? We're hitting into the last round of week 4 coming up on Saturday, which is going to be it's going to be another amazing race. How are you guys feeling about it? Let's start with our first place runner, Luffy. How are you feeling coming out of this run?
I mean, I feel really great. I think my team didn't have quite the tournament we wanted to have. We had some ups and downs, so I think we're gonna miss the playoffs. But it was still a lot of fun. This was my first tournament. I played with some great racers, so I wish my teammate Bert really good luck on Saturday. Hopefully he can have a nice finish for us as well.
Well, and you got a first place, man. Like,
Yeah, I'll take that any day for sure.
Yeah, definitely wear that one with pride. So, Jad, how you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, we had like, our team had a really, really rough first week, so I'm pretty happy about how we managed to come back. But overall, like, this tournament, I don't know. This game was a little bit nerve-wracking, but other than that, this tournament's been, like, lots and lots of fun for me. I've been enjoying doing the different flag sets. I haven't enjoyed them all equally, but I did find, like, a new, not maybe absolute favorite, but one of my favorite formats in the Free Enterprise one last week. So yeah, I think it's been really fun.
Awesome. Brojo, how you feeling, man?
Pretty good. You know, I finished this particular set of seeds in a better position than I expected. Unfortunately, my team is not going to be making the playoffs, but you know, I'm pretty sure all of us had a great time racing. We still have one more race, of course, on Saturday, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think last time that I was in the booth, you know, the game just keeps getting better every time I come back and participate in one of these events with all the new flags and stuff, and you know, I guess I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next and how the rest of the league shakes out.
Fryteeth.
Yeah, a lot of fun. You know, I always like these types of things where you change flags every week. You know, I like having to make the adjustments and learning all the new flags, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I got to just reinforce the GGs here for my teammate Fryteeth, who's absolutely blasted through these past 4 weeks, learned a ton about the game, and leveled up to be competing on the tier with some of these other top runners who had been playing the game for longer. So, mad shout outs.
Thanks, and thank you, to my teammates, but especially to you. The amount of help you've given me to make that progress was incredible, and I think it's the help from that help that let me get to this level this quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So to give everyone in chat an update, we did have 2 of the runners on stream tonight on teams who are vying for playoff position, as we kind of said at the beginning. Jat and his Quackening team had a substantial lead going into the night with 2 races left during the week, while Fryteeth, a member of the Cheese Fries, was needing some, good favorable results and some sort of upset finishes in terms of the seed and the next one on Saturday. Unfortunately, with this result, it's getting into the 1 to 2% kind of territory for Saturday. So we're not eliminated statistically yet. There's a flicker of hope in that candle, but it's looking like Jat, DVS, and the Quackening will be moving forward by my best estimation. So either way, good luck or good games to everyone. It's been a heck of a run to playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, and speaking of, next week starts off our playoffs, which is week 5, and it's going to start off with an entrance and floor shuffle flag set. So, again, one of the things about this fall league that I personally enjoy is that every single week you're getting a completely different experience of Final Fantasy Randomizer. So next week we're going to do our floor entrance shuffle, and the week after that, who knows?
Mystery.
It is the mystery seed with tri-states galore. So even the flag designers don't quite know what's going on.
Oh, and it's co-op too. There's 4-way voice comms co-op in the last week of playoffs. So make sure to tune in 2 weeks if that excites you.
That is going to be a lot of fun. We have a special layout designed for that. It's going to be 4v4 co-op. I'm not even racing in that at this point because my team, the Nukins, has been eliminated, but I am looking forward to that one.
And a quick shout out to Dark Moon, who was restreaming for us and just had to join in the conversation. We love it when you join in, Dark Moon.
Just for a short little while here at the end, so I'm not interrupting you guys,
No, I appreciate it. So I think we're hitting the point where we're going to do some final thoughts, and then we're going to wrap this up. So let's start off with our first place winner again on stream, Luffy. Give me some final thoughts.
I just want to thank the commentators tonight. I want to thank Dark Moon for restreaming. There's no trackers in Chaos Rush, so nobody to thank here. But thank you to everybody throughout the tournament. This has been a lot of fun. I'm very happy to participate. Join the Discord, everybody, if you haven't done it. That's what I did and got me going. It's been a lot of fun, so thank you very much.
Jack.
Yeah, same thanks. And I also did want to give a special thank out to Cheeseinator. He's also helped me a bunch with my game. We're all the Quackening are about 6 months old in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, and we've benefited immensely from both watching them play, their commentary, and also just, he's given me some individual help as well. So yeah, big shout outs there. And yeah, I guess the only other thing I wanted to take away is I was kind of watching back the VOD a little bit, and I guess just it's never too late to make adjustments. I remember watching one of the earlier races where it's like, oh, they have nuke, and then everyone went and ground to level 40. Here, my black belt got punched out turn 1, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a defense sword, and that seemed to make quite a big difference here. So I guess that's my little learning. Also, don't tilt, but that went well this time too, so I'm pretty happy with those. Although it was a frustrating hour and a half, I'm happier for it, and I feel like I learned something. So that's really good. That's it for me.
Awesome, Rojo.
GG everybody. Thanks to everybody who's been working to put these events on. And you know what? I also want to thank viewers like you.
I love it. Fryteeth.
Yeah, just thanks to for commentary and for restream and to the tournament organizers and for the teams that made the playoffs. Good luck going forward.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with all those thoughts out there, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. It's been a pleasure having everyone here tonight. Thank you, all you Randomizer fans, for joining us. following this, you can go hit up our Discord. There's a link in chat to the Discord, but you can also go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com to find the Discord and also just start running seeds on the site if you haven't before. It's really, really fun and pretty easy to get into if you just drop in the Discord and ask for help. We got a lot of people ready to coach you up. Additionally, you can follow the runners and commentators. There are links in chat. They absolutely deserve it. These runners have been putting on shows for you now for 4 straight weeks and are all talented, both within Final Fantasy Randomizer and the respective other games that everyone plays as well. So really been a fun broadcast, been a blast to have everyone on. I'm grateful for the tournament staff and comms and restream as well tonight, and looking forward to the playoffs. And yeah, that'll be it. So one more race on Saturday. Tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern, channel TBD, I think. It's usually on Randomania, RPG Limit Break, or Speed Gaming. And after that, it will be the playoffs. So thanks, everyone, and have a good night.